So I had a teacher once called Tim Galway. He's the guy that's responsible for the Inner Game series. He wrote this really brilliant book called The Inner Game of Tennis. It really changed my life. And something that's coming back to me that happened, that I learned from him, that I experienced with him actually. And how do I start? So this guy's got this theory, and I probably am not explaining it right, but just bear with me. He's got this theory that in the execution of any kind of task or doing anything, that we bring different selves to it. He's a tennis coach. He was a tennis coach, and he noticed that there were some people who really couldn't hit the ball right, or couldn't get their swing right, or couldn't do what was necessary to play a good game. And he had this theory that there were two selves in operation here. He called them self one and self two. And what he realized in his theory was that self two is this really super capable, really skilled part of ourselves. And self one is an overthinker, worried, fear-driven, worried about getting it wrong. And so that self one can really scupper the self two's ability to get the job done well. So he was in London for a couple of days some years ago, like it was quite a while ago, and I was able to be in the room. And in true tennis coach style, he took us to a tennis court and he paired us up and he gave us this exercise to do to prove his theory. And we had to throw the ball to each other. So there were two people and we had to throw the ball to each other. Throw the ball and catch the ball. Catch the ball and throw the ball back to our partner. And it really worked, right? It really was brilliant because what he asked us to do, instead of trying to catch the ball, instead of really honing in our thoughts on, let me catch the ball, let me get it right, let me do this thing good. Instead, all we had to do was watch to see what happened to our hands as the ball was coming towards us. That he instructed us to not be trying to catch the ball, but instead be trying to focus on what happened, just really noticing where our hands went, how they moved, did they move simultaneously, what happened in the movement as the ball was coming towards us. Well, relieving ourselves of this pressure was really amazing because I'm not usually able to catch things. I don't know if it's something to do with me being blind in my left eye, but I'm not usually able to catch things very well. So, but when I stopped focusing on, stopped trying to catch the ball, it became much easier. My success rate at catching the ball went up. So did my partner's. But what happened was that every time I threw the ball and my partner dropped it, I would say sorry. I'd say sorry. He dropped the ball, but I would say sorry. And I was really oblivious to this. I didn't know it was happening. But as we were throwing the ball back and forth, I all of a sudden became aware of this sound over here somewhere. And it was Tim that had noticed that I was saying sorry a lot. And so he would say, every time I said sorry, he said, no, sorry. In a really small, still, quiet voice. Every time I said sorry, he'd say, no, sorry. And this went on and on and on, completely out of my consciousness. I didn't know it was happening until I did. I kind of got wind of this little sound. And then I remember thinking, what's he saying? And then I'm thinking, is he talking to me? And then I'm thinking, do I need to listen to what he's saying? And then I chose to listen. And then I realized that he was telling me not to say sorry when somebody else dropped the ball. I learned so much from that exercise. And it's been coming up. So I sat with myself just now and asked myself, why is this story coming up and what can we learn from it? And I wrote, well, at this time when we need to really go forward in such uncertainty and we don't know the way to go, we don't know how to, what the next normal is going to look like. What has become familiar, obvious, usual, normal is being challenged right now in our leadership. All those things that we're so used to doing that we don't hear them anymore. That's what's being challenged right now. All the things that we do without thinking, all the things that we do like a reflex, on autopilot, is being challenged right now. And what I'm realizing is it takes something to really start to tune in to that challenge, to tune in to the voice of instruction or the voice of a new way or the voice of what needs to stop or what needs to start, the directive voice, the shepherd's voice, the way to show the way, the way, the instructor's voice. We really need to, there's a posture, isn't there? There's a posture when you're open and when you're ready to be guided. When you don't have this posture of being open and ready to be guided, the chances are you'll just keep going and not be challenged in your old way of doing things in a new situation, in a new circumstance, on a new day. And I've been really thinking about this. What I wrote was, it takes something. There's a posture to hearing what has been inaudible. What has been inaudible, because remember, I didn't hear his voice first. So there's a posture to hearing what's been inaudible. There's a posture to seeing what's invisible. There's a posture to deciding that you want to know what's been unknowable. And the question is, does this ring true for you? Does this ring true that there is something that's required of us if we're going to let our habits and our old ways be challenged? I said here, does it ring true for you? And if it does, what's required to help you tune in to a new way, to a new instruction, to advice, to direction? What's it going to take? Because there are those voices that have different ways of doing things. There are those voices that have different way of seeing things. There are those voices that have different ideas to contribute to current problems, current challenges. And it's about how we tune into them that's going to really guarantee our success and our improvement and our transformation. So I was thinking that I'll leave you with this, that we need to connect with Tim. Tim is someone or people with other views, with new eyes, people that see things differently to us. We need to create proximity with those people, with the new ideas, new eyes, new insights. We need to create proximity, not just proximity, but proximity that allows them to see us, see our situation, see how we're going on, see how we're coping, responding, leading, guiding, doing our thing, and give that Tim permission to contribute their ideas about what needs to happen, where we could do things differently, what their take on it is. We need to give permission to Tim. And then we need to be curious about what Tim is saying. We need to acknowledge and actively listen and presence ourselves in Tim's wisdom. Really discern it, hear it, open up ourselves, posture ourselves, position ourselves to hear what Tim is saying. Now, this has just come to me and it's been with me for a couple of hours now. So I've decided to make this video. I would really love to know how it's landing with you. I'd really love to know what you're hearing me say as I describe this whole thing that happened with Tim and how it relates to you as you are leading in this unfamiliar time, as you're leading in this new day, as you're leading your people onto a new normal, and in uncertainty, and where we don't know the way. How does this relate? How does this resonate with you, or does it?